Hello, everyone, and welcome to the program. This is Sunday Politics, live on Channels Television. I'm Oshiomhole in Lagos. Happy Women's Day to all the women as we celebrate the International Women's Day. Welcome to the show, everyone. On Sunday Politics tonight, so much to talk about, but we will begin with a crisis rocking the leadership of the All Progressives Congress APC, especially the plot to remove Mr. Adams Oshiomhole, the ruling party's national chairman. Earlier in the week, there were two court orders, one asking Mr. Oshiomhole to step aside as the APC national chairman, and thereafter another order came from a federal high court in Kano asking him to remain. On Friday, a lawyer and an aide to the Edo State governor dragged Justice Alagwa, the judge of at that federal high court in Kano, to the National Judicial Council over allegations of misconduct on that order. That doesn't seem to be the end to the week-long trouble. There have been back and forth on the plan to convoke the National Working Committee meeting of the party. That's the NEC meeting. It's perhaps the second highest organ of the APC after the National Convention. Mr. Victor Giadom, the APC acting National Secretary, was the one who called the meeting for the 17th of March. But that did not go well with some members of the APC National Working Committee, the Publicity Secretary, also the legal advisors released a statement over the weekend saying that is unconstitutional. Mr. Giadom does not have the power to convoke that meeting. Mr. Giadom has responded. What really is happening in the APC? We want Mr. Oshiomhole out. We are also understanding that the president may have intervened in the matter. How will these all pan out, especially because this case is already in court? Let's talk about this for a moment, everyone. Joining me from our Abuja studio is Mr. Salifu Usman and Mr. Sunusi Musa. Both of them are lawyers. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming tonight. Let's get right into it. Let me begin with you, Mr. Salifu Usman. Does Mr. Victor Giadom have the right, as the acting national secretary of the party, to convoke a national working, the National Executive Council meeting of the APC?
Thank you, Mr. Oshiomhole, for having me. I must say that ordinarily convening a National Executive Committee's meeting should be a product of a relationship or interaction between the president, who is the leader of the party, the national chairman, and the national secretariat. I think the problem we are having here at this point in time is the fact that there is a crack in the wall, and that crack is affecting the functionality of the party as an organ. Ordinarily, the national secretary who embodies the secretariat should communicate the decision of the party hierarchy to every other organ of the party, and by implication should communicate the convocation of a National Executive Committee's meeting to every other organs of the party. The fact that the decision of the information from the National Secretary of the party is being challenged at this point in time is a pointer to the fact that there is a disagreement, there is a crack within the body, within the body of the All Progressive Congress. But for that, I think the National Secretary is the right person to communicate the to inform every other organs of the party of the holding of a National Executive Committee. But the issue now is who actually called for the meeting. Is the president, who is the national leader, who is the ultimate leader of the party? Is it aware? Is the date convenient for the president? Every other organ, the Board of Trustees, and every other person that makes up the National Working Committee, are they in tune with the meeting of the 17th of March These are the issues, and I think that is what gave rise to the agitation within the body of the All Progressive Congress. Otherwise, the National Secretary is the right person to inform every other members and organs of the convocation of a meeting of the National
So let's clarify,
Committee.
from what you know, who is the APC National Secretary? Mr. Victor Gedom or Mr. Bulama?
The APC National Secretary that we know all along is Mr. Bulama. And the action of Mr. Ogiadom lately, passing himself off as the National Secretary, leaves a lot to be desired. And these are some of the issues that are crying for address within the APC. And I think until all of these issues are addressed, the crisis on ground now will persist.
Let me bring in Mr. Sunusi Musa. There's been this talk about the constitutionality of what Mr. Victor Gedom has said, whether or not he has a power to convene that meeting, because there's even a contest that Mr. Gedom is saying he is the authentic secretary of the APC, and you will hear from other people saying Mr. Bulama is the secretary of the APC. Mr. Gedom has responded this evening to say, look, whatever was signed by Mr. Bulama he even says that Mr. Bulama is not a member of the APC National Working Committee. What do we believe now? What can we believe?
Well, to the best of my knowledge, as a member of the APC, and I think I know some of the things in the party, there was a meeting of the National Working Committee where the appointment of Mr. Bulama to fill in the vacancy created by the exit of Honorable His Excellency Maimala Buni, the governor of Yobe State. And I don't know, for reason best known to the National Working Committee, after that meeting, the announcement for the new person to fill in the vacancy was not made publicly since when the crisis started. So, I think, yeah, when there is a vacancy for the office, or when the National Secretary of the party, the then National Secretary of the party, assumed leadership as a governor of Yobe State, yes, Mr. This was the acting National Secretary until the appointment of Mr. Bulama to fill in the vacancy, who is from the Northeast. You know, by the zoning of the party, the position of the National Secretary was zoned to the Northeast, and being from the Northeast, and he was filled in to complete the tenure of the then National Secretary of the party. So I want to be guided as a lawyer by the provision of the Constitution, and until unless there is anything to the contrary, Mr. Gadom is remain also a part of the leadership of the party, and he's a leader in his own right as a deputy national secretary of the party. But for now, to the best of my understanding, Mr. Bulama is the national secretary of the party.
So does Mr. Gadom have the power to convene the APC NEC meeting?
No, I think when you check Article 25B of the APC Constitution, it's quite explicit on how the meeting of the National Executive Committee is to be convened. It is it is mandatory that at least each quarter the National Executive Committee must meet once each quarter. It can meet more than that. But the person to give the direction for the convening of the meeting, it is the national chairman of the party, as stated by the Constitution. And also, the 2/3 of the members of the NEC can also ask for a meeting to be convened of the National Executive Committee. or the National Working Committee of the party can also convene an emergency meeting of the National Executive Committee of the party. So from this, we can say that when Mr. Ogadom gave that announcement, if there was no any other contrary counter announcement by some members of the Executive National Working Committee of the party, we will take it on the presumption of regularity that the Executive Committee of the APC, National Working Committee of the APC, decided to convene the meeting of the 17th. And we have not seen, if then, since now there is a counter announcement, then it is clear that it is not the National Working Committee of the party that has convened the meeting. And also, the announcement for the convening of the meeting was not said based on the resolution or request by 2/3 of the members of the National Executive Committee. So these are the issues. But by and large, I think it shows the evolution of the APC as a party. These are trying moment, actually, but at the end of the day, I think all the leaders of the party will be able to come together and resolve this crisis and have the party move ahead and remain a formidable force to beat in 2023.
Mr. Salifu, let me come to you quickly. Within the National Working Committee of the party, we have the likes of Mr. Giadom, who believes that Mr. Adams Oshiomhole has been suspended as the national chairman. From the statement that he released today, there are other people on the outside. We're also understanding that some governors are plotting to remove Mr. Oshiomhole. Who do you think is behind the major characters behind the plot to remove Mr. Oshiomhole?
I don't think Nigerians should be concerned about who is actually behind the plot to remove Mr. Oshiomhole. One thing is certain. If you hold any political office in Nigeria or elsewhere in the globe, naturally there will be detractors, there will be people who want to take over the office from you, there will be people who never wanted you to be in that office and all of that. But the point is, have you given them an opportunity to remove you from that office and have you replaced? That is the issue. Then another issue we'll look at is, are they following the right process in trying to remove you? I think whoever is behind the plot to remove Mr. Oshiomhole had set in motion a process for the removal. And the first thing they did, which I think they did rightly, is by having him suspended from the party at the ward level. And it goes to the root of him holding that office as a national chairman. Because once you cease to be a member of a party, or once you've been suspended from the party, then where is the basis, where is the locus for you to hold an office as a national chairman? So I think Nigerians should not be interested in who is plotting to remove Mr. Oshiomhole as the chairman as the national chairman of the party, but whether the right process is being followed, whether he still has a locus in view of his suspension from the party by his own word, where his membership, where his locus to become the chairman.
Okay, so in this sense, from as a lawyer, is Mr. Oshiomhole still the chairman of the APC, considering the two court orders, one from Abuja and the other one from Kano? Who is the present chairman of the APC?
Very well. I think Mr. Oshiomhole has lost his right to remain and to be addressed as the national chairman of the All Progressive Congress as it is today. One, for the single fact that he has been suspended from the party by his own word. Let's go back to the constitution of the All Progressive Congress, particularly Article 10, Article 11, and Article 12. The right of every member to hold any office in APC is derived from his membership of the party. If your membership is suspended or you are expelled, your right to hold any other office deriving from the All Progressive Congress had ceased.
All right.
That is
On that
number
note,
one.
so
Then secondly,
let's treat that one issue first. Let me go to Mr. Sunusi Musa. Do you agree with him? Do you think? Who do you think is the chairman of the APC presently as we speak?
I think as a lawyer, I don't think I have the right to sit here and interpret any court judgment or any court order given. But one thing that I know is that, yes, there are conflicting court orders, but the court orders are actually I don't think they even though they have the same subject matter, but the parties are different. So I want to take it from that side. But one thing that I want to say is that any national officer of the party, with all respect, not only Mr. Comrade Adam Oshiomhole, any officer of the party that is to be removed from the party, the constitution of the party has provided for the procedure to be followed in removing that officer of the party. And I don't think it's right if we say that any person that is just a national officer should be suspended from the ward, and we say he lost his. But anyway, that is before a court of law for the interpretation. So those are issues that we should leave it for
all
the
right.
court.
So in essence now, so that we can wrap up this conversation on the APC crisis, let me ask you, Mr. Salifu, just briefly, Mr. Salifu, how do you think that this can best be resolved? Because I understand now that the president has weighed in and set up a little ad hoc committee to resolve this crisis. It's already in the courtroom. In 30 seconds, how do you think this can best be resolved?
For me, there are two ways to it. Either a political solution or a legal solution. As it stands now, in the eye of the law, Mr. Oshiomhole has ceased to be the national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, unless and until either the party decides otherwise and have him restored back, or through the instrumentality of the court, which has in the first place suspended him. And let me say something
because
briefly,
we need to wrap up this conversation. Let me allow Mr. Sunusi to wrap up his thought in 30 seconds. Do you think that the president's weighing in on this matter can resolve the issue, or how best do you think this issue can be resolved?
Yes, I'm the most happiest person the president has weighed in. And I'm sure at the end of the day, where APC will come out stronger. I'm sure all those who are doing this, both pro and against Oshiomhole, are all doing it for the interests of the party, for the interests of the country. But I think we'll come out stronger at the end of the day. All the crises are going to be solved. We'll see a united party, including in Edo State, the homesteads of Adam Oshiomhole. The president will play the fatherly role that is expected of him to see that this crisis are resolved. But I think also it is very important to say that the action of the police in sealing up the national secretariat of the party is uncalled for.
All right.
Because even if the court order is not against the entire members of the national secretariat, it's against Adam Oshiomhole if they want to do anything against him, but closing the secretariat is not fair.
All right, we need to leave it at that. Mr. Sunusi Musa, APC, and a member of the APC and a lawyer. Also, Mr. Salifu Usman, a lawyer. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming on tonight. Well, we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll be talking to the governor of Delta State on the South-South arrangement of a security initiative. But before we go on our break, let's show you on our Did You See That segment. Well, you'll be wondering, what is Senator Dino Melaye up to? The senator who is very popular on social media after he lost out to Senator Smart Adeyemi. He's been up to something, perhaps, maybe he's going to enter into a music studio. Take a listen to him.
Bùkátà mi o, ẹnu mi ti fẹ́, bá mi gbé. Bùkátà mi o, ẹnu mi ti fẹ́, bá mi gbé. Olúwa. Má jẹ́ n dààmú lórí ọmọ Ọlọ́run mi, má má jẹ́ n sọkún lórí ọmọ. ìwọ ló fún mi láyọ̀ káyé má fi wọ́n pa mí lẹ́kún. Má jẹ́ ń dààmú lórí ọmọ, Ọlọ́run mi. Má jẹ́ ń dààmú lórí ọmọ alágbára, má má jẹ́ ń sọkún.